The day was hot on the road. We'd been driving into a lull for hours, and there was nothing to view in the desert. It was just one rocky beaten hill after another. We tried to open the windows, but it was worse. Wind blew hair from my ponytail onto my sticky neck. Glaring through the windshield, the sun a searing ray on the glass. He swerved off the road and pulled into the only place around. The big parking lot was nearly full. I thought it must be a Native American casino. He said he didn't care as long as it had air conditioning. A Volvo wagon pulled past us, the wheels slowly turning, sticking to the black asphalt. The car was stacked with a lot of luggage and boxes for just 3 people. The kids in the back seat stared vacantly at me, their eyes like 4 little black holes. The passenger side seat was empty, and the driver looked straight ahead, intensely focused on the exit. They screeched onto the highway in a little puff of dust.
It's a roadside attraction. Sunshines, lollipops, and rainbows,
he said. Gross. But I added, I guess it'll do. I really need to pee. I'm thirsty too.
Maybe they have fudge?
I half smiled at his hopefulness. It would be lame, and we both knew it. The entrance had metal double doors like a casino. A family in unseasonably dark clothing stood nearby arguing like flapping ravens. A voice squawked about calling the police. We avoided their drama and stepped inside. It was bright and cool with no external windows. I hated these kinds of places.
Come in, come in.
A man walked up in a suit and vest like a salesman. His smile was big and showy.
Have you visited us before?
No, sir.
My husband said, abashed, as if it was our shortcoming. What can we buy here? I asked.
Well, ma'am,
he said, sizing me up.
This is a tourist attraction. It's $15 each for an hour of amusement.
I cringed and he prompted,
It's the best air-conditioned building for 50 miles, and you get a free lemonade or rainbow shaved ice at the end. There's a little gift shop, too.
hubby said.
This will be fun. We'll go through fast.
I sighed loudly and said, Okay, let's get this over with. We paid the man. His large showman hands gestured to a darkened hallway with an open door at the end. The hallway was cold. We walked into a room that was brightly lit and full of wandering tourists. They looked slightly amused, or maybe just confused. I couldn't tell. It was a maze, sort of like a hay bale maze, because you could easily see over the top of the office dividers. But even being able to see, the people still walked the gray walls from start to finish like a line of trained ants. That lemonade better be good, I said. He smiled apologetically. From stage right, a line of women suddenly filled into the maze like a chorus line from a Broadway play. They were singing. Leotards in yellow, cherry red, and lavender-spangled sequin completely covered only the areas required. Long legs, sparkling in beige pantyhose, stretched down to high heels. They formed in the center of the maze, seeming to know ways through it not apparent to the rest of us jackasses. The lead hostess spoke.
In this game, we will sing for you. When we stop singing, stop walking through the maze. Wait wherever you are. We will come through the room. If a sunshine girl taps you on the shoulder, go with her to the end of the maze to win. If a lavender rainbow girl taps your shoulder, continue going through the maze when we start singing for another chance to win. But if a lollipop girl taps your shoulder, you must leave the game. At the end of the maze, count up how many people in your group won.
Oh, brother. I'm sorry, honey.
He said. I squeezed his hand in acknowledgement. We should have just peed on the desert floor and drank the beer in the car once the water was gone. The ladies started singing, and it wasn't bad. Their voices were crystal clear, and they sang in harmony. I wasn't sure if it was the Mr. Sandman or the Sunshine and Lollipop song, but their siren-like voices were entrancing. We started walking through the maze. They stopped singing and turned out the lights. We stood still. shoulder to shoulder, realizing we had no choice but to freeze. The room was pitch black. I had no idea how those ladies didn't sprain their ankles, but one of them came up to us. I could smell her saccharine perfume. I scooted closer to my husband, hoping she'd think we were one person. I didn't want him to leave me here to have all this fun alone. I couldn't see a thing, but I swear she stood almost nose to nose in front of me, her thighs practically brushing against mine. This is really strange, I thought, suddenly nervous. The door stage left cracked open with light, and fathers, wives, many old ladies and old men, several young adults, and a couple of children left the game. I didn't feel right about this. Where did they say that they would meet up with their families? In the tiny gift shop? Outside in the heat? I remember the little cloud of dust that kicked up behind the half-empty wagon as it screeched onto the highway, leaving this weirdo place far, far behind. The hostess in front of me cleared her throat delicately. She smiled, a sharp line of white teeth gleaming wetly in the low light. My hubby leaned ever so slightly toward the red sequins, drawn in. "No!" I growled in a low voice, just loud enough for her to hear. I grabbed his hand and held tight. We'd find a way through the maze, I vowed. Even if we had to push over the dividers, I wouldn't let go. I said as much to her with my eyes. He swallowed, uncomfortable. Her lips pressed into a practical smile, and she stepped over one person in line to a mother who was beautiful and tall like a dancer. The hostess's manicured red nails and soft white hand tapped once, twice, 3 times.
Come with me.
The woman nodded yes and followed her to leave the game. As they walked away, the hostess glanced back, eyes getting a measure of the woman's figure as if for a new outfit. I heard her ask,
Do you want to leave the game or sing? I bet you will like singing.
Stay by me. Don't leave me, I whispered to him.
Okay, I will.
Shuffling, squeezing by other people during the dark times, avoiding the ladies, holding onto each other for dear life, we worked our way through the maze. We came to the last door and stepped into the light, and the sickeningly sweet perfume and singing faded as we entered the gift shop. The man from the entrance walked from behind the counter to us, holding out 2 paper cups with plastic lids and straws.
You both won?
He was surprised, but smiled.
Congratulations. Here's your lemonade.
Thank you, I said brightly and accepted the drinks. Honey, I think I'm ready to go. Let's hit the road.
All right, dear.
We stepped past the man, and I pretended to suck on the straw. The back door squeaked open, and a heat wave hit us. I didn't care.
Come back,
he boomed. Forcibly, I pulled the door closed behind us. My hubby squeezed my shoulder and said softly,
Let's get out of this freaking nut house.
I nodded, and we rushed to the car. Before he accelerated away and we peeled into the highway in a cloud of dust, I tossed the untouched drinks, cups and all, right out of the window. I viewed the mess from the rearview mirror. The plastic lids had popped off. One was blowing away. An empty cup rolled back and forth. Sticky yellow drink pooled on the pavement and immediately evaporated, leaving a coating of nasty sugar on the parking lot's ground. Sunshine and Rainbows Roadside Attraction was written by author Nicole Force and was narrated by Sinister Sweetheart, Jack Sanders, Erica Leticia, and Minkus Thormine.